What did you eat today? Me? I started my day off with a glass of orange juice, a piece of toast, and some watermelon. For lunch, I had some pasta, an avocado, and a little bit of grapefruit. Now, what if I told you that all of these common foods would either be extremely rare or virtually non-existent if it weren't for the common honeybee? The honeybee population is drastically decreasing, and it affects each and every one of us. Now, honeybees may seem like a common insect, buzzing around the gardens, around the flowers, up in the trees, even in our houses where we really don't want them. They are so common, in fact, that I never even thought about their numbers declining at all. It just never occurred to me. Now, honeybees pollinate plants. Now, this is a process in which a honeybee will land on a plant, a male plant. Pollen will stick to the hairs on its legs, and then it will go land on a female plant, hence the fertilization. Now, the fertilization is only a secondary process to what their ultimate goal is, which is to collect pollen and nectar, food for themselves. They're not even really knowing they're pollinating. Now, when they fertilize the plant, this plant in turn supplies us with produce, the human race, to survive. Circle of life. Honeybees, one way or another, are virtually responsible for pollinating every single plant species on the planet. One way or another. Some plant species rely on the honeybee solely, 100%. Without the bee, there is no plant. Now, this may seem real insignificant still, but think about it this way. 1/3 of the amount of food that humans consume, 33% of the human food, in one way or another, is because of a honeybee. The last 5 years, we had one winter where we lost 32% of our honeybees. Poof, gone. Nobody knew what happened. The next winter, we lost another 36%. This is from the American Beekeeper Federation. 36%. So now we're up to 64% in 2 years. There was 1 year in this 5-year span where we actually lost 1 million or more colonies, hives. 1 million hives gone. Poof. Nobody knows. Since then, there's been research done on the subject, and we won't get into that. That's another time. Apples, oranges, even mangoes. 100% reliant on the honeybee. Without the bee, these things would be extremely rare, if even existed. The Natural Resource Defense Commission estimates that because of the honeybees, we are able to generate an estimated $15 billion worth of revenue into the economy. The same resource also estimates that with the drop in population, we are now losing $5.7 billion of possible revenue into the economy. So the economy will suffer if the bee population drops any further. And when the economy suffers, we all suffer. Now the big question, why are the honeybees disappearing? The answer is very simple. It's us. All of us. We plant food, crops, and what do we spray on those? Pesticides. The pesticides to kill the insects that are eating the plants. But those pesticides are also killing the same insects that fertilize the plants and help the plants produce. This is a global epidemic. Things that are being done, well, not much. The EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, filed a lawsuit against a lot of these places, manufacturers of the pesticides. Since then, the EPA has decided to work with these manufacturers to eliminate certain chemicals that are known to be harmful to bee populations. And realistically, there is no way to stop the exposure of pesticides or chemicals to our bees. There just isn't. But we can control the amount and the level of exposure. Second reason why the bees are going extinct. Honey. I know, it sounds very ironic that honey would be a reason the bees are losing population. But think about it this way. A healthy, active hive in 1 year will produce 50 pounds of honey on average. A website, Mother Earth News, has an article that states, in order for a honeybee hive colony to survive winter months, it will need 50 pounds of honey to survive. Humans like honey. So, here comes us humans saying, come up to a 50-pound hive. Well, I'm going to take half of it. Okay, that's fine. But now half of these bees have to die. So we're selectively portioning off a part of a hive to die if we take any surplus of 50 pounds. Final common issues for the bee decline. Global warming. Flowers are starting to bloom earlier. Plants are growing earlier. Grass is getting greener earlier. But the bees are still sleeping. When the bees wake up, they're halfway through their season. So now, do they only have limited resources and limited time, but they're running out of season? Habitat. Wildflower fields. Bees' habitat. The human habitat is expanding at an alarming rate itself. And we're moving into all these wildflower fields without replanting flowers. And not just replanting any flower, replanting flowers that can sustain a bee population. There are certain flowers bees don't like. So they have to be able to sustain the bee population. Now, what can be done? Well, a few things can be done. We can reward farmers. Now, we would reward them for planting crops that would bloom during bee season. That way the bees would have plenty of resource. Second thing would be the EPA still working with the manufacturers of these pesticides to eliminate the chemicals that are bad for the bee population. And third, which is the best one, is to use insects to get rid of insects. Ladybugs eat aphids. Example right there. Use a good insect to get rid of a bad insect that doesn't harm the plant. Awesome. Thank you very much.